Hello everyone, I'm Ernie and I'm so glad you're here with us today. Today we have a new project that I'm excited about. I'm going to make a new Cupel furnace because my old one gave up the ghost. It just couldn't take any more wear and tear. I've used it a lot. I made it about probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and this is what it looks like today. You can see I used some 1-inch kale wool. I first started with just one layer, but then I could feel a lot of heat escaping, so I put a second layer around here and used some baling wire or some concrete wire to hold it together. And I made a couple of holes in here so that the tips of the furnace, or actually the tips of the propane nozzles would go inside here. But the problem that I had, not only with the wear and tear, which with this is normal, I'm okay with that, but the issues that I was having is that on my brass tips, they would get really hot and they were melting, and they would just they couldn't take the heat. And so what had happened was I didn't have this inside of the furnace. I had it going through the hole, but where it didn't extend into the furnace, because I needed to have the intake, the oxygen intake right here, but still they couldn't take the heat. And so anyway, this is what happened to that nozzle there. This one just kind of gave up the ghost because it got too hot. You can see that the that the knob started to melt, and then I guess it just got too hot inside here, where it just closed up and it wouldn't allow any propane to pass through the valve. And then these nozzles work the best, but as you can see, they both gave up the ghost. This one here on this side here worked really good. They put out a lot of heat, and when they did work, they worked really well. This one just doesn't work anymore, and so I kind of got tired and frustrated with that, and so I thought I'd try something different. So what I'm going to do is that instead of using that, I have this nozzle that goes to my smelter that I purchased from Amazon. It comes all in one piece. This side hooks up. It has a 30 psi valve on it, and I hook this up to my 5-gallon propane tank, and then this side here goes into my furnace. But anyhow, what I'm going to do on this, I purchased a 4-inch galvanized nipple, and when I make my furnace, I am going to put this inside of the kale wool, and then I will insert the propane torch inside here. I will make some type of a device for back here to hold this up, and so I will get a hotter flame, a more consistent flame, using this, and instead of the smaller tanks with the smaller nozzles. I'm really curious to find out how it's going to work. I'm excited about this. The only thing I'm concerned about is I don't know how this galvanized nipple will hold up under the heat, mainly because it's got some threads there, and so it kind of takes away the thickness of the galvanized metal. But anyhow, we'll give it a try. I can also use some black pipe, which might work just as well. But anyhow, this galvanized nipple just might work really well. And so this nipple was $6 at Home Depot, and you can purchase one of these on Amazon for I think it was around $35. And so, but I didn't want to do this on this project because I'm just going to use this not only on my original smelter that I purchased from Amazon, but I'm going to use it on my Cupel furnace. But when I make my larger furnace, then I will build this part here out of some materials from Home Depot. And so let's get to this project. And here we have our material, and our kale wool is spelled Kaowool, and it is 24 inches long, 15 inches wide, and 2 inches thick. And I'm going to measure 4 inches, and that will be the height of our furnace. I have 2 Cupels right inside there that I use, so I know how big I need to make the furnace. And I have a smaller Cupel, which is actually a number 5, and that will absorb 16.8 grams of lead. And the larger Cupel, I don't know what size that is. I got those ones from Amazon. I believe there was 12 in a package, and it was around $40. And that one will absorb, I believe, 65 grams of lead. The number 5 Cupel I purchased from Legends Incorporated in Sparks, Nevada. And while these ones are really cost effective, it's because most of my lead prills run between 12 grams to 14 grams. I think I've only had one prill that ran 15 grams, but these number 5s will absorb 16.8 grams, and so they're very cost effective. So I'm going to use my utility knife and make this cut, and then we'll size it up. All right, we kind of have this put together, but I want to make sure that there's enough room for 2 Cupels in case if I want to double it up. And so it looks like it's going to be just the right size for 2 Cupels. And so what we're going to do next, we're going to cut this in half, 1 inch off of the opposite side, so that way when we put it together, it'll sit flush without having a seam in the middle. All right, what we're going to do right now, we are going to measure 2 inches in on either side of the opposite side of the kale wool, so when we bind it together there won't be a seam. They will overlap each other, and so our goal is to have a seamless furnace. I wanted to throw this in there just in case if you're interested, but you could take a piece of sheet metal like I have here, and you can use some sheet metal cutters and cut it down to size and wrap it around your furnace. But I don't feel the need to do that. I like my furnace the way it is, and it'll last me a while. And so I just wanted to throw that in there in case you were interested. Here we have some gold ore that I picked up from some mill. I don't know the name of the mill. I've been asking around, but no one seems to know the name of the mill. But anyhow, I pulled out about 30-40 pounds of this stuff, and I crushed it up, and I took a portion of it and ran it through my little wash plant. I ran it through my sluice box, and then I panned out the material and got the concentrate. Well, I took the concentrate and we smelted it, and to my surprise, out of all the places that I got gold ore from, this had the most gold. It was shiny gold, but there was some silver mixed in with it, and if I were to guess, it was about 2/3 gold and 1/3 of silver. But on this a portion here, what we're going to do, we're going to take out 70 grams of this material, and we're going to mix it with our flux and smelt it without washing it through the wash plant, and we'll see what we get, and that way I can see what the difference is between the two processes. So anyway, I'm excited about this, and let's do it. We're getting ready to smelt. Right here we have our 70 grams of gold ore. We have 70 grams of Chapman's flux, 70 grams of soda ash, 50 grams of potassium nitrate, 30 grams of high litharge with flour, 70 grams of silica sand, and 70 grams of anhydrous borax. Anhydrous basically means dehydrated borax. And so we're going to get the smelter heated up. We'll get this process going. All right, our furnace is heated up. Our crucible is heated up. We're going to pull it out of the furnace, and we'll pour our material into the crucible. We're going to let this process go for about an hour, and we'll come back and check it out, and then we'll pour it into our cone mold, and we'll see what type of precious metals we get. I'm pretty excited about this one. What I want to show you at this moment, right here we have our cone mold, and the reason why we have that heating up next to the furnace is because we have that and we have our pan heating up. So when we pour the molten material into the cone mold and the pan, we won't have a thermal shock, because what the thermal shock will do if with the molten material hits the cold pans in the cone mold, it'll explode and splatter, and we don't want that. So that's the reason why we're heating everything up before we pour the molten material into our cone mold and in our pan. These pieces of rebar in there, it assists the litharge to attract all the lead and the precious materials that are inside this pan. May be asking the question, Ernie, do you lose any of the precious metals because of the overflow when you pour the material into the cone mold? You know, honestly, I can't answer that question. I'm assuming that we can, So anyhow, what I'm in the process of doing, I bought a bunch of metal, $85 worth of metal today. My friend is going to make me a metal cone mold, so that way I won't lose any of this material. And it's the 70 grams that we did. That's the whole reason why I only kept it at 70 grams, so we wouldn't have all this overflow. So anyway, if you have that question, that's my answer. And so we're going to make a larger cone mold. And then I also have a number 12 crucible that I just purchased, and I just purchased some more kale wool, and we'll make a larger furnace. But you can see how everything had heated up very nicely. It poured very nicely, and then we'll check and see, you know, how it comes out. And we'll most likely get to that tomorrow, because it's getting pretty late, and we'll check out our new Cupel furnace. It is a new day today, and we are going to get our lead prill out of our cone mold. This kind of tipped over yesterday when I was working on it, and so it kind of had fallen apart. Our cone right here, I'm going to break it apart, clean it up, and we'll begin to smelt it. And this is just cleaning up very easily, very nice. Here's our prill, and we're going to weigh it up. And what we have is 14 grams, and that calls for our smaller Cupel that we got. And I just want to say, you know, these things are really cost effective. I purchased a case of these over at Legends Incorporated in Sparks, Nevada, and there's 720 of these number 5 Cupels in a case, and it was about $80. So you know, these are really cost effective. And if you have a chance to go to Legends Incorporated in Sparks, Nevada, I highly recommend that you get all of your materials there, because it is cost effective. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to heat up our furnace and get this temperature up, and then we will put the lead prill inside of the Cupel. Our furnace and our Cupel is now heated up, and so now we're going to add in our lead prill. You can see the oxidation on the lead prill, and it is shrinking in size. That blob that is on the left hand side, I have no clue what it is. I noticed it when I took the prill out of the slag and I let it play out, but I have no clue on what that is. I had to move the Cupel closer and off to the side of the flame, because I needed to get the heat and the oxygen in the right mixture, so we can get the oxidation on the lead prill so that it would absorb into the Cupel. Okay, there we have it. We got done with our Cupelling furnace. I think it works great, but the only issue that I've had with it, because the flame was so big and the flame filled the chamber of the furnace, is that it was really hard for me to get a good mixture of oxygen and the flame so that the Cupel, or actually that the lead, would oxidize. And so as you can see, I'm indoors right now. It's kind of late. The sun has set. It's late. I got the green screen on behind me. In case if you wanted to know, that is Marlet Lake behind me up in Tahoe, but I'm inside my home right now. But anyhow, you've seen how we made the furnace. You can go ahead and make your own. You can choose how to use your flame to melt your lead prill. But you can see that we got 0.023 of a gram on our our bead from our prill, and I'm excited about that. I could see some gold inside that bead especially when I use my jeweler's loop. So anyhow, there you have the process. I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and share it with your channel and with your viewers. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe to our channel, become part of our AU family, and we will see you soon on the next one.